everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at a game called Wandering Galaxy. This is a Crossroads game, and it's the third in a series of games in which you play through a book, but you're also playing through an app. It's a really strong story-driven game.
Yeah.
And this is in space. We've had pirates.
With Forgotten Waters.
And then we had freelancers, which was fantasy. And now we have space. So they're done. I guess technically this is like the 7th Crossroad game because they've done a lot of other ones. But these are tied to an app, so they're all very similar. If you played the other two, you played this one to some degree. Let me show you a bit. In this game, players are going to have a spaceship. You'll have a sheet for your spaceship talking about any upgrades. You might check some things off in your database. You might want to write down a code here so that if your game gets interrupted, you can go back to that code. You're going to be flying around through this galaxy for the different missions that you decide to play. And when you go to various planets, you'll be going to different things on that planet. We're going to come back to this. First, I want to talk about the different characters. So in this game, there are a lot of different races that you can be, and different characters who are part of these races. And you're going to pick one of them. You'll pick a backstory that you want to do and answer some questions, and then you'll have your character. You'll name that character. And not only will you get this character sheet, but you're also going to get a deck of cards. Everyone has a starting deck of cards that's going to show various symbols that will match your character. You also might have some special starting equipment, and when the equipment comes, you're going to be able to put items or sidekicks underneath your board, and you'll be able to use them. These symbols will often be done in tests. As the game goes by, they might say, make a test that you need red or blue symbols for a total of 3. And you'll turn over 3 cards. Well, I did not get it. I got 2. Well, this one might be in front of me. Let's say I pulled a 3rd card. 3 symbols, I passed the test. Although there are tokens that you can use. And as the game goes by, you're going to add special cards to your deck. These are status cards, but you might get other cards that are just awesome and give you more icons of whatever you might need. And there's also tokens you can spend. There's a lot going on. There's also 6 different stations that players will be passing between themselves, depending on how many players are in the game. If you're 2, you're each going to run 3 of these. And these are going to keep track of things. Here you'll keep track of life support and research. Operations keeps track of your profit and the threat that you have towards you. This one keeps track of the ship's power and your hull strength. Logistics, so you're going to keep track of all the different cargo crates you pick up. Navigation, where you're going and how the galactic struggle is going. Is it at peace? Is it at war? And security, this you'll be using when you fight different people. Now, on a high level, you'll be flying your ship around from planet to planet, but let's talk a little bit about the app. So there's an app that you can play. I'm showing it here on my iPad. It's a web-based app, and when you get to spots, you might pick a random thing here, or you might go to a very specific thing. So maybe I go here, and you'll click Submit, and then you can read what happens, but you can also...
We draw near to Aldeth. No, there is still a sizable Krunk presence here. Aldeth was once a prosperous...
So it will read it. It will also give you a choice. Maybe you want to enter it. Many times there will be some sort of test. It will, here, is there a waypoint ring for a job at this location? We say yes, we'll do something, you'll read this.
Well, Cena, this job is yours. Where did your friend's ship, meet its end? Gala's ship was the...
So then there's all sorts of things. There's also maybe a mini map that you'll go to in this case, and then a quick fill entry. And again, it's constantly be reading this.
Probe launch worthy of the galaxy's highest praise. This one is it.
Okay, so I don't want to, again, spoil it. I'm just showing you some random stuff. But when you land on planets, you will often go through a location book. In a location book, you will take time, and players will, by putting their characters down. Sometimes a spot someone will have to go to. Sometimes spots will be locked. If it's blue, only one person go there. Green, multiple people go there. On the side, it tells you what each person does. Sometimes it will be something very specific. Like this is an asteroid encounter. You'll be flying around in space, fighting some asteroids. Here you're surrounded by enemies on board. Here you're at a different spot. And each one, when you get to it, you simply put down the number that it shows there. So you can always type a number in. It might ask you some questions.
Fires of the Gigazon headquarters. A massive 50-foot tall statue of the founder, Gary Belkos, looms over the entrance. Its wide stance forms an arch through which visitors must pass. Inside the building's lobby, you approach the HR desk for contractor assignments.
I'm looking for glamorous work. Just dangerous enough to add to my spacer cred, but not so dangerous that my insurance drops me.
The bot nods.
Put your signature here, and 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 here. Oh, and here, and here.
You comply, and the bot sends an...
So that's kind of the way the app will work. And there'll be lots of tests made, and you'll go around until you accomplish the goal that you are trying to do. So that's the game. I can't really tell you much more without spoiling it for you. You'll get tokens that you can spend to help you to get better tests. You'll find crates filled with goods that you're going to take on the ship. You have a bunch of different people that you're going to meet and interact with, and you'll run into random encounters, but also set encounters depending on which of the main missions you start with. On that note, when you start a campaign, you'll go here, and there are 4 different ones, but each of these can go in various branches. It will also let you say, hey, do you want to help you set up the game? It will tell you to put the book there. It will tell you where to put the ship, and it will help you set up everything, including all the cards. There's a lot of different cards that are included with this game. So that's kind of a basic idea of how the game works. The game will clearly let you know when you've won or lost, but along the way, enjoy the journey. The game also, you don't need the app. You could separately buy an entry book. I would never recommend that.
Oh, no.
Well, you have to pay extra for it even.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, and the thing is that I understand that not everybody likes app integration in games. This is done incredibly well because it doesn't distract from the board game at all. You feel like you're playing a board game 100%. It just has some of the best voice acting and comedy bits and the sounds and all that atmospheric stuff. And it's excellent.
In fact, I tried playing this before all the voice parts of the app came out, so I had to read everything. And I was like, this is a lot of reading. But as soon as we played it with the actual voice acting and everything, I was like, this elevates it so much.
I'll go even farther. I think this is the best voice acting, period, for any game. And it's definitely the best comedy writing of any board game. It's stupid, but it doesn't feel badly written.
This particular one or this whole series?
The whole series.
With Forgotten Waters and Freelance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, yes. So let's talk about that. The Forgotten Waters was a big pirate game. It was a pretty big game that you split into 2 halves if you were going to play it. You played one half and then the other half because each half was like 2 hours. So it was a pretty long game. Mm-hmm. Freelancers was much shorter. You could probably get it done in 2 hours and a half. Wandering Galaxies has gone longer again, although you can save it. And it also has sort of a campaign built in. And it is honestly the biggest of them all of them. It has 6 different consoles that people have to keep track of. And I'm not thrilled with that part of it because I think a lot of that also feels superfluous. It almost is like, you keep track of this, you keep track of this, you keep track of that, you keep track of that. Okay, we need to move this here. I would have cut some of those consoles out. I guess they're there in case you want to play with 6 players.
I guess that, is the point that everyone has a thing to do. But I don't really feel that that's necessary because we're playing the actual game together. Like, we're going to the spaces, we're resolving our own situations. And so I don't feel like I need to have my little board where I'm like, okay, who keeps track of fuel? Oh, that's me. Done. That's my, one thing I do for the next 20 minutes.
Well, you're doing other stuff. You're placing your worker and being involved.
That's what I'm saying. You're doing all the other stuff. I don't need that fuel gauge.
That's your one ship console
duty.
It's
my one, job.
It's like in Galaxy Quest. You're like, my job is to say what you say to the computer, what the computer says to you. It has a little bit of that superfluous feel. And I would have been fine if there was just one track that was like fuel. And that's the whole health track for you could have consolidated.
And there is a better way. Spark Riders 3000 does this.
Yeah,
where you have the ship out. It's a very similar game in that way. And So that's my biggest negative, is I felt like that was just too much extra stuff. It wasn't hard.
No, I think the big thing is that it creates a lot up front. Like, they do have a very good system that gets you into the game through the app, and it like introduces that first scenario and it teaches you as you go. But there's a whole chunk of that that's like, okay, now let's learn our boards.
Yeah.
And that I think is what slows down, so you can't get to the fun and the story as quickly. So I don't think that those things are overly complex in actual gameplay. I think they're complex in like front-loading rules for a game that should be just the story's the focus, not the gas gauge.
And you have actions. Okay, there's a few extra phases in here. We're doing the ship action phase. Ooh, what do I get to do? Well, you look at a console in front of you. I can add 2 energy or 2 fuel. You can add 4 energy or fuel. Like, okay, well, you should do that. I'll do a different thing. I'll get a card. You're stuck doing the fuel because you have yours is twice as strong as mine. Also, it costs 3 of that resource to move anywhere. I feel like the numbers are a little bit weird, right? So that you can make a difference between 2 and 4.
It's almost like they gave you that stuff so you had something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And all this is, unfortunately, a distraction from the greatest part of the game, which we're all saying is the story, the action beats, all the stuff that is great.
Well, I do like the check system a lot. The flipping cards, except for one major, there's the coloring of the icons sometimes. Was it in the app? Where was it?
It's in the book where it says, "Hey, do a blue target check."
But it doesn't show the blue color.
Yeah, it's all printed
shows
in
the
white.
symbol.
It's just like in the white writing.
Which I know some of you out there who are colorblind are going, that's what we always deal with. I get it.
That's
but
true.
The colors also would help us make it easier with finding the shapes. It wasn't the end of the world, but getting off that, I love that check system. You're building your deck up. You kind of know what's in your deck. There's ways to mitigate it. It never felt overly hard, little dramatic. It was better than dice rolling for me.
I think the thing is they're always giving you those little like inspiration like tokens, and so the actual like checks, I feel like I failed the checks all the time from the card flip side of things, but because we can help each other and because we're getting constantly those little extra bonuses like add a success, add a success, add a success, I feel like I can win enough that it creates a positive experience instead of feeling like I'm always reaching a negative.
It's actually better than the last game in that regard. In Freelancers, sometimes you muffed up. You roll a die and there's not a lot you can do. Here, if I really want to do well on something, I can save those tokens and do well on that thing.
And you can really say, hey, I think this one's going to be a pretty crucial test. Is someone willing to take more stress cards in their deck
There's
to give
also
me
that
little
aspect.
die roll? So I think it encouraged that cooperation. I think if you've never played Forgotten Waters or Freelancers, you might come into this with less of our little complaints here and there, like, oh, the boards, there's extra stations, all that stuff. I think if you come into this because you're like, well, I want a thematic space game, I think this is going to be really, really cool.
I think it's going to be a good, I think that's a good point.
And there's also you can play each of the scenarios multiple times because you're going to have weird random events show up in missions and things, and the stories are very different too.
Yes.
It's weird because there's no way to me to talk about this without referring to the other two.
They're that similar of games.
They really are.
They are. If you've never played any of the games, my first pick would still be Freelancers. I think it's the easiest one to get into, the easiest one to play. After that, it's tricky because I think this is the trickiest one to play, but I think the writing improved from the Forgotten Waters, the pirate one.
It's funnier more often. I think the writing is still amazing in Forgotten Waters, but these are going to have like punchier moments. The comedy comes quicker. Forgotten Waters tended to kind of build up to funnier moments, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it all kind of depends on the theme that you want, maybe, because all 3 of them are going to be good games, but I also can't review this in a vacuum. Ha ha ha. Space.
I also feel like in Forgotten Waters, I always got frustrated if I was the person that had like the least popularity or whatever that track was that determined turn order, because then you're like, I'm mopping the deck again. Like that's how I felt. Piratey. That's what I felt in that game, and I feel like I feel less of this. Like there's still those actions that they may seem less interesting than the other ones, but because you don't have to deal with that track, you can just decide. You can cooperatively decide like, oh, Tom hasn't done anything cool recently. Go do something cool.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun even when it wasn't my turn. Just listening to your stories and what you were doing was interesting. It's really close to a role-playing game in that way. And I found that to be enjoyable. How to rank it though?
It's kind of a hard question.
It is.
I'm going to come in at, it's going to sound like a low number, but it's a 7.5 for me, right? And part of that is the baggage I carry from having the other two games of the catalog that I really find funny and do all of so much of the same strengths that are in here. And I really like that idea how Freelancers has just a little less upkeep. In a game like this, I want just a tad less upkeep because I want to get to those great story beats and moments quicker. So this is still, I'm definitely recommending it. And I think the thing is, if you want a space-themed version of that system, this is going to be great for you, right? Whichever theme you lean towards most might be the one I would say go ahead and play that one. There's not a bad starting point. All three are solid. So, that's where I am. 7.5 for me.
That's interesting. I'm actually coming in at the same score with 7.5. And I think, so Freelancers for me was a 9. I thought that thing was amazing. And I think it's because we got so quickly into the story and it was just like, go. Whereas this one, I mean, I tried playing it with my daughter and she was so bored after learning all the different things that she was just done. Whereas I feel like Freelancers, I could have sat down with her and we could have really enjoyed it. And so it lowered it in that regard, but I still think this is great. The story's still there. You just got to be willing to do a little bit more upkeep, a little bit more like doing stuff in between the fun.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of a video game tutorial where when I play the game again, I'm like, the stupid tutorial. Can I skip it? Skip. So I'm coming in at 8.5. It is lower than the other two ratings, 9, but I still love this. I think the onboarding process is a thing. I would help you skip that if you were playing with me. I'd be like, you just need to move that dial and this dial. You have the bag, pull chips from that bag. But I think for gamers, they're going to like this one. Some of them are going to like it the best because it has deck manipulation. It has all that other stuff. If you like keeping, we got to watch the fuel. We got to do this. We have to go here to do this. And then I think this is the funniest that they've been. I really like space a lot. I like sci-fi. It's my favorite genre to read. So I am enjoying all the different aliens and this stuff that they put into it. But, keep what we said in mind. I don't know that I'd recommend this as your first foray into the series, but I also want to recommend people. This feels like a series a lot of people don't talk about, and it's amazing.
It really is.
Really good.
This is I don't see this game getting played a ton, and it should be. The series, I mean. They're just so much fun. If you want a role-playing experience, but you don't have like a really good dungeon master or whatever, the app does a good job at it.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, it is that same type of fun that I get. And it's a little bit of a different type of fun I get from playing most board games, and that's great to have some variability in your catalog.
And I like with the series, you can pick your theme, Yeah,
that's true. Well, we'll see what they do next. That is Wandering Galaxies, a Crossroads game. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
And I'm Chris Yee.
I want to say thank you to some of our GameFound backs. I want to say thank you to Saver Paul Halderson. Oh, sorry. Say Saver Thor from Iceland. That would have been easier to say that one.
Wow, way easier. Sorry about your real name.
Zane All and to Danny and Ashley Weitzman. Oh,
Phonetic
thank you all
right there.
for
Thank you much.
supporting us, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.